Hey, great news, Simon.
Yeah.
Michael eased up on his workload so he doesn't burn out.
Oh, that's awesome. He might actually get some sleep.
Yeah, well, he didn't sleep. He actually made a video game.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 3 Views On podcast for the second week in a row for a very long time.
Tell me it's not true.
I don't know that it's even possible.
Michael, tell me it's not true.
Tell me your dreams. Tell me their meaning.
No, this is true. We're here.
No,
Yeah.
that you made
You made a video game.
I
You made a video game.
I didn't drop any shifts.
Okay,
I have
so
to do-
that's
worse. He dropped
There's
sleep.
a legal
Not better.
requirement to go to all my shifts.
Drop sleep and time with the wife. Got a video game, though,
Yeah.
so that's good.
So you want to hear the story?
Love
yeah,
to.
definitely.
Sure. Well, look, first I probably should tell you guys that you just got to bring your expectations where they are right now
Yeah.
Yes.
and take them up 4 notches.
No way.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
And then
I was
just,
already thinking Skyrim, so...
Better.
Oh, wow.
Like all the experience of Skyrim,
Yes.
but in a manageable time frame.
In a game of Pong,
Yep.
somehow.
Like, yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So there's a game competition called the Ludum Dare. It's Latin for something.
yeah.
Sure.
It happens every 3 months or so, 4 months, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And they call it a game jam, so people commit to making a computer game. But the catch is that you only have 48 hours to do it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
48 hours, and you have to do everything yourself.
Dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So I caught on to this late last year.
All right.
As a thing. I'd seen other people on YouTube who've made them, and I thought, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I got to the end of the year, had finished uni, and had nothing to do.
Okay.
Have you ever been there with absolutely nothing to fill your time with?
I cope pretty well. I usually just sleep the whole time.
Yeah. So have you got parts to the point where you can sleep the whole time?
No.
Yeah. So
not recently.
I did the sleeping. I did the binge watch.
And then you were bored.
I've watched all the shows, done all the sleeping, and I had nothing, absolutely nothing left to do.
That
And
sounds
I
like a
found-
good holiday.
I mean, it was good, yeah. It was
Sounds like he'd
fantastic.
had the sleep that we hoped he'd.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
think we have to worry
I
too
walked
much.
out one afternoon to say my wife, I said, "Hey, look, I want to do something crazy.
Yeah.
How would you feel about me basically disappearing for a whole weekend, like 48 hours of that weekend, and making a video game?
And you just feeding me and
Pretty much.
watering me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I did. I committed to it. It was a bit of a build up. They released the theme at the time when the
Oh,
thing
right.
comes out.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yep. So you got a theme to kind of back you up.
What
Yeah.
was the theme, Michael?
The theme was the more you have, the worse it is.
Is that really Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's not
So
bad.
it
Yeah.
requires some lateral thinking
Yeah.
to even get the right genre of game, the
Yeah.
right kind of game.
Well, there were 5,000 people signed up to make a game. So if you
Wow.
think of all the concepts that fit into that bubble,
Huge.
under that topic,
That's
there's
awesome.
a fair bit of overlap. So if you want to stand out a little bit, you have to do something a little bit
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave it a go, and the concept I came up with was obviously the easiest way to make a game with the more you have, the worse it is. Game scales with, the more points you get, the harder the game gets.
Yes.
That's how games are supposed to go.
Yeah.
But that's too simple.
Yeah.
So I thought, what's the way to think laterally about this concept? I'll use the concept of power. The more power you have, the worse it is. It'll make it like a social experiment.
Okay.
Yes, that was the idea.
Ah.
So I designed a bit of a game where you start out as a slave in a little community, and as you work for your owner and do different things,
Yeah.
you gain influence and power. And then they work as your bargaining chips to kind of climb the social ladder.
Nice.
Yeah.
But the more you climb the social ladder, the more opportunities you have to make a quick buck here and there, maybe sacrifice a few of your slaves along the way.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Playing with the idea of the more power, probably the worse you're going to behave.
Yeah,
With
all
the
right.
opportunity
Yeah,
to
right.
climb the ladder even further. Eventually getting to the point where you're the king of the area, and you get to lay down the laws as to what is acceptable for your people. So maybe there can be a tax that, everyone has to pay for maintenance of roads. It's pretty
Yeah.
reasonable. Or instead, no tax for the rich. Just all the slaves are committed to 1 month each year on brutal slave labour.
Okay.
Or you have a prison system that looks after people who are in prison. They need to spend their time, rehabilitates them, but that costs you a fair bit of money.
Yeah.
Or you just publicly execute all of your...
Hang him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now you're talking my language, Michael.
So that's the concept. A little bit of a clicking kind of simple
Yeah.
HTML style game. Progress along. it came together. I got the idea down on paper, figured out so the class systems, how
Nice
things went
one.
up, and how the levels would play together.
Yeah.
Set up a system with a map so you could see kind of where you are and where you're in the areas. Decided I'd add a bit of a building element as well, so you can use your money to build different things. So maybe you build a slave quarters so they have housing, or maybe you build
How
a
did you
gallows.
do this much stuff in
So
2 days?
Not all of that happened.
How much of it happened?
So I got to the point where the map was there. The basic construct for the you had to progress through the days and make money, and for there to be different notifications that happen each day. All of that background was there, but none of the content was in the game.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's very much an iceberg game. With you see everything you see is about 10% of what was actually there.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Okay.
it was good a concept. I think I got through a fair way, but I got a little bit stuck with actually just getting the content in.
Yeah,
The
now your
actual-
wife's never going to let you finish it.
No. Eventually, maybe she's not too worried.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where it got.
Good work, man. That's
Yeah.
quite an undertaking.
Yep.
Yeah, how much of that did you have to learn on the fly?
Look, I know a little bit about website programming, so
Yeah.
I used a bunch of that knowledge,
Yeah.
but there was a fair few things that I had to kind of get through. One of the main ones was the way that the game spat up notifications to you.
Yeah.
So there's a really simple way in computer programming to like make a little alert box, and you've probably seen it before. If you've clicked on something on a website and pops a little box and you click OK. Super simple.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you want anything more than that OK box, it gets very complicated.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes. And then progressing through different things, there's a few tricky ways of sending messages backwards and forwards between things.
it seems like the perfect little concoction because you not only have you got a goal you know you want to reach, you don't necessarily know how you're going to get there. I suppose it would be something like just hacking through a jungle,
Pretty much,
trying to
yeah.
get to this cave with all the treasure. Now, were there any points of extreme frustration?
One. It was about 2 a.m. on Saturday night.
Oh, yuck.
And I was knee deep.
Did you sleep?
I did.
Oh,
yes.
good, yeah.
In retrospect, I think I should have slept less.
Never the answer. Never the answer,
It's not
Michael.
going to fix your problem.
But yeah, I was knee deep into a section of code around getting the computer players to talk to you as the player.
Sure.
And just could not get it to work. Hours and hours of trying to debug and reading through lines and lines and lines of code and going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Couldn't get anywhere. Just got to a point where I was going to sleep. Don't care.
Yeah.
Woke up in the morning, found it first straight away.
Oh, really?
Oh. that's
I'd
the worst thing.
misspelt one of the words. And then,
No.
so that was the point of like intense frustration. Overall, very good. And I think very good because it's an incredible like feat of achievement to get there. But you have a set time frame. So if you can't just blow the project out to 4.5 years.
Exactly.
You either get there in 48 hours or you don't, which is very enjoyable.
That is fantastic, man. Well, good on you for taking on that little challenge.
Yeah, so it was good. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link to the game
Nice.
on our Facebook page.
So it's a web.
It's
web game.
web game. Yeah,
That's
you can
cool.
go on, you can play it for the whole 13 seconds that you can possibly enjoy it.
Can you enjoy it for the 13 seconds?
Oh yeah, the art's not bad. And it
Did
is-
you
it
had
is
to do all the art
Oh,
and
all
everything
the
as
art
well?
myself. Yeah.
What did you use to do the art?
I have
Paint?
Yeah, my iPad has a little sketching program,
Nice.
so I would sketch on the iPad and export them to.
Very good.
Yeah.
How about, Simon, you and I have a little play of the game this week?
Yeah.
And then next week when we record, we can actually give a little bit of feedback,
Yeah.
maybe give a couple of bits of constructive criticism,
Yeah.
or maybe some intensely destructive criticism, whichever way we actually are feeling at the time. Next week.
Sure.
Sounds pretty good. Look, we're thinking today we'll cover a few more things before wrapping up. We're talking a bit about technology.
Yeah.
And Paul has revealed something to us. He's in to this brand new frontier,
Yeah.
the
Good.
gold rush of the 21st century.
That's a perfect analogy, Michael.
Thank you,
It
Paul.
is a perfect
Do you know why
analogy.
it's perfect? Yeah, okay, let's say what it is.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Cryptocurrencies in general,
Cryptocurrencies.
yes.
And the reason that it's the gold rush of the 21st century is because there are very few people who get very, very rich. Everyone else works their butt
Looking
off for
around all
nothing.
life, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Paul, I know that this vein goes very deep. My brother's into it, and
Yes.
I've seen the depth. And he's got me to try and jump on board to help him implement some of the depth.
Oh.
Okay.
So how deep have you gone?
Are you now talking in terms of committing my own financial resources deep, or committing my intellectual resources
Well,
to
there's
learning?
two. There's
Yeah.
two. You can learn the systems,
Yeah.
or you can sink the house.
And I
Well,
imagine
yeah,
Michael,
yeah.
your brother Tim is mining.
yes,
Is he? Yeah,
he's doing the
not,
mining.
He's not
Yeah.
just trading.
Yes.
because that's two different things as well.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
I'm just trading and buying and selling. And the thing about the mining is very often, I mean, look, you can do really well, and some people do. They just hit the jackpot and you beauty. Very often it will require more power from Aurora than you will actually
It's very true.
get in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So especially if you're running like one of my bad, like just a little MacBook Air,
You'll
like you're
never
going to
get
fry
anywhere.
your computer, you're going to get a massive power bill, and the whole thing's going to suck.
Yeah.
So I actually have not committed, Michael, a lot of mental resources to understanding it. And the reason is very simple. It's because I know there are several key people in my life whom I trust fairly well.
Yes.
And what I say is I'm actually going to delegate all my understanding to them. And if they, whose sort of framework of viewing the world I respect, if for them it seems like a good idea, then I will actually roll with that, trusting their judgment.
I see. Did you get an invite for this?
No, didn't get an
Neither.
invite.
So we're not on that list.
No.
No, it was just a couple of people who actually invited me to get in on it,
I see.
and we did. And look, boys, it all depends on when you bought. That's what it is. So
Oh, yeah.
people will
I
often say, "Oh, Bitcoin went to the moon. Oh, it's crazy." Yeah, and it just depends
Not at
because
the moon anymore.
no. It's about 11 grand Australian.
Yeah.
And not
like
too long back, it was
3 weeks ago, it was 15 grand.
and before that it was like 18, 20.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it went
Didn't
nuts.
it cap at like 52?
Not yet.
something
It hasn't
crazy
gone
like
to
that?
52, but it went very high. And I know a lot of people who bought at the top floor. And then
very
that
poor.
elevator plummeted to the bottom. And you have halved your cash. Well
Yeah.
done. Thanks for playing. See you later. And the funny thing is that people then, when it goes down to the bottom, get out. They're like, "Oh, stuff. This game sucks."
Yeah, that's right.
So is this good news for people like you, Paul? Is that exactly what you're hoping for?
Yeah, it is good news because I chucked a bit of cash in there, and I'll be keeping it in there for quite some time, because what people need to understand about Bitcoin is it is not for the faint of heart.
Yep.
You got to have a strong gut if you're
Yeah.
going to do this, and you got to be willing to do your dough.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
any dough you put in there, you got to be okay with losing it. It's just a cost benefit.
When we're saying chunk of cash,
Are we talking like... We'll go like numbers of zeros.
Paul's face.
1 0,
I have it
2
on good
zeros,
authority.
5 zeros.
I'm not going to say
7
the
zeros.
number.
that many zeros.
I've been
That's
told
all right.
a number of zeros.
There's
That's
a
right.
number and then that many zeros after it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my brother's probably in about that many as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it is, so we got, I won't, for the listeners, I won't say, but what I will say is there is more money in it than is not in it
Yeah, okay.
at this point. So that's a little,
That's a little bit terrifying.
it is
Yeah.
a little bit. And
Yeah.
when the guts drop out of the market, I'm tempted to lose my guts as well.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin has routinely halved in value. Like you look at it, it was $500, goes back down to 100. It was like 18 grand, goes back down to 9 grand. And it is up and down with a steady upward trend.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite sayings,
Yes.
but that's what it is. So, boys, either Paulie will be just doing his dough, burying it in the ground, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it doesn't do that, and that would be nice.
I reckon it's really interesting how so many people have been caught up with it, because it's pretty much exactly the same as share trading. Like the trading side of it, it's exactly the same as share trading. If you go too hard, you end up just being a gambler. And you just lose heaps of money if you're not clever. And look,
If you're not patient, most of the
99% of people aren't clever and they will just sell, because that's what everyone does. My dad's a financial planner. He has people ringing him up saying, "Oh, my stocks have plummeted. I want to sell," and he just like routinely has to tell people, "No, I'm not going to let you sell those."
When the stocks plummet, that's not the time to sell. Just one top
Exactly.
tip for life.
But it's hilarious because all these young people are getting in on Bitcoin and like just spurning whatever advice might be given to them by all these like 50-year-olds
Yeah.
who played the stock market when they were in their 20s, you know? And we're like, "Oh no, it's completely different. It's exactly the same."
Yep. So, Paul, what was it that drew you to cryptocurrency? Is it because they're like money, but they take up less physical space? So in essence, it's the minimalist dream.
It is the minimalist dream, my friend. Look, there's a number of different things. There's an opportunity just to get more money without working more hours. And those are things that don't usually come in together. Because there's a sort of thing like if you're saving for another house deposit, say, to get investment property or your first home or a new car, whatever, that the money that you use to buy that will be directly reflected by the amount of hours that you work to get that money. And it would be a really nice thing to be actually able to get the asset without having spent so much of your life, without look in the rear view and there's a big trail of hours spent behind you.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to not have to do that. Now, obviously, with the chance that it goes up, there's obviously a chance that it goes down. And like if you're going stocks, it might go up 1% or down 1%. You're not going to do heaps of dough like that.
Yeah.
If it could go up 15%, it could also go down 40%. You know, like so it is high risk. There's really no getting away from that.
Are you enjoying it?
No. Not one bit.
Oh, really?
Not one bit. And I'll tell you
That's
guys
a
what.
good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. It means you're
I
not...
would say not really.
I'm thinking of yanking it all. To be upfront with you guys, I'm thinking of yanking everything because it has not been profitable for my faith at all.
Really? Okay.
I don't like thinking about money. I don't like worrying about money. Sure, you're not going to earn squillions with your money in the bank, but at the same time, what I personally would be getting if I put my money in the bank, I'd be buying peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the moment, there's a chance I'm getting money, but I'm spending my mental resources way faster than I like to.
Yeah.
Trying to think, am I going to lose all my money? Am I going to get more money? And really, as a Christian, I don't know which one's better. I don't. There are times when it's going up, it's just climbing, and I'm like, I could feel the angst of like, this money, what am I going to do with this? And then there are times when the guts drop out and my investment is halved. And those are actually really sweet times where I'm like, just money. All I need is Christ, really, at the end of the day. I'm not going to take that money with me. But then it climbs again and I'm back on the other way. Oh, yeah. What am I going to buy? So it hasn't actually been that healthy for me spiritually, to be upfront with you.
You mentioned one of the golden ideals of this is money without sinking hours.
Yeah.
How many hours have you sunk into Bitcoin?
Yeah. It's probably, There is an element of you, instead of clocking in and clocking out, you're always in.
Yeah.
So maybe at the end of the day, I've paid myself 35 cents an hour to make this. Yeah, that's true.
Very cool. Simon, have you been following the cryptocurrency news?
Like about a month ago, I bought $40 worth of Bitcoin,
Wow.
and I just decided to let it track. I just bought a few of the more the big ones, Litecoin, Ethereum, that kind of thing.
Yep.
I just kind of left them. Funny story.
You've now got $30.
No. This is the app Binance, the trading. Do you use that? Yeah.
No.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, the app for the trading thing has a total Bitcoin value, and underneath it lists all your different resources.
Yeah.
I was a retard. I thought the total at the top was how much Bitcoin I had left over after what I'd put into everything. I was like, this is doubled overnight. And it turns out I don't have $80, I have $40 still.
Yep.
Maybe about 35 now.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to leave that for about 100 years.
Let's see what happens. Yeah.
And if it ends up becoming 4,000% more valuable, might actually be able to take it out, because the fees that it cost me to buy in, I now don't have enough of that to buy
out.
That's so funny.
Fair enough.
So I've got to wait till it's tripled as value before it'll let me sell it anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's kind of cool. I knew that I would be on the gambling end of it. Like, I'm just so like, look at the app.
Exactly.
Do this, change this, do that. So yeah. I just kind of, once I realized I'd not doubled, I was very happy because that was enough of a letdown for me to go, this is not good.
Yeah.
And I just went, I'll just leave that where it is.
And look, boys, let me ask you a question. And just to be upfront, I haven't made squillions. Given the volatility right now, as of today, I'm just about the same as what I put in.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's big ups, big downs. Like I said, I'm tempted to take it out. Anyway, Do you think it's even a very healthy thing for the soul to get money for nothing? I'm not convinced it's actually that good for you. And I've felt that within me, the process start to sort of ferment. But having a relationship between, I know I said earlier it would be a nice thing to get, and it would be superficially. But do you think it's actually a profoundly healthy thing for you to get that money for nothing, or do you think it could come at a detriment to your character?
I think that's probably a comparable situation to when you're getting a super inflated amount of money for the work that you do. So like take superstars, you know, they appear on a talk show.
Yeah.
They get paid 60,000 times what anyone else who came on that show would get paid. So I reckon that's a pretty comparable thing. And I reckon you could probably pretty accurately look at their lives and Wall Street CEO, all these people who make squillions of dollars and compare the more public people's lives with what it's probably doing to you. And like we all know, the celebrities, the money doesn't do it for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Unhealthy lives.
Yeah, I think we often get tempted to think that more money will make us more happy, which just isn't true. It enables us to do more things, but money is not directly correlated to happiness. So often we think if I won the lotto and got $1 million tomorrow, that would be enough money to satisfy me and make me happy with how my life is going.
Yeah.
And I think there's even been studies that have shown that it's actually quite the opposite.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One, the amount of money is never enough. People are actually very good at adjusting their lifestyle to fit their income.
Yeah.
To a fairly reasonable, accurate model. Financial planners are very good at modeling this, and they can. If you walked into a financial planner today, they would try to figure out how much you make, and then using a percentage calculator, they would show the average percentage of what people can work with.
Yeah.
Yep. And people tend to do the same. So if you have $1 million coming in every Tuesday, you will live within that realm.
That's true.
If you have $10 coming in every Tuesday, you will learn to live within that realm. And people do. And the other thing is that if it's so much that it's not enough, it's also that if it ends up being more than what it's worth, it devalues what you're doing. So someone who is getting paid for something that excess amount for what they're doing, rather than the extra money saying, I value this more and I wish to pay you more, it says, actually, what I'm doing is probably not accurate and to reflect what I'm doing. So it ends up devaluing your time. You feel less reward for the hours and the time that you put in.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I read a study similar to kind of what you were saying. Basically, it said up to about $50,000, there is a sense in which money can buy happiness. Like, so you're not pooing your DAX every time a Aurora bill comes in. You know, it buys you that freedom to have maybe even a week's worth of everything stored up in the bank. But post that amount, it flatlines and then it goes down.
Yeah.
So, like, there's between like the 50 and 90 grand, you're all right. You're basically meeting needs. That you might increase those
for
needs.
the average Australian household.
Yes, that's right. But then it just takes a big nosedive at like 200 grand. Is
Yeah.
I think you end up realizing that there's not enough money to buy everything that you want ever.
Yeah.
One of the big things that couples argue about, it's like the most argued thing about, is finances.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
So the whole money buys you happiness things might not be so applicable to a bachelor. Like, you can kind of be happy with your social life when you're single, but when you're married, like, massive arguments from money and because of conflicting interests and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So up to a point, you know, most married people want to earn more money, thinking it will buy marital happiness by getting rid of all stresses. But obviously it doesn't work.
Not the case. Yeah. So it's a pretty tough one, I think, and definitely, like, as far as my marriage, I came in when I was living off next to nothing as a bachelor, and
Literally next to nothing.
Yeah.
Sleeping on couches.
Absolutely.
One suitcase, one car.
It was the greatest time, but anyway, obviously not as great as the marriage time. Anyway,
Good save.
I just tried to export that same model of budgeting onto what we're doing now. But what I didn't realize was every week there's like $130 worth of just guff, just fluff around the outside.
Yeah.
And every week it's different. You might need to buy a rake, and then you've got to buy a bowl to serve chips in.
Yeah.
And then you've got to get like a big bulk buy of detergent or something. But it happened. And when you do it, when I was doing the budget, I'm like, yeah, but that's a once-off. We'll never need to do that again.
But you do it every week.
Exactly.
You think my grocery shop will be $50 next week because this week we bought honey and we only buy honey once a month. But then next week you're buying laundry detergent. Next week you're buying toilet paper. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I reckon, I don't know if this is just a Christian value that I've kind of picked up or if it's true for life in general. But I think there's something really valuable about learning to live a life where you recognize your need, which I think really helps you define your goals and your priorities and your place within the world.
Yeah.
And I think if you ever take away that need, it really ends up leaving you at a loss.
Big time.
Can't remember who it was. Some old preacher last century. Every pay rise he got just went to missions. Like he lived on his starting
It was
budget.
Wesley who
Wesley,
did that. And Francis Chan of our generation.
Piper, I think to a
it's
certain
worthwhile.
extent.
So smart and so
Yeah,
hard.
just-
It makes so much sense to do
You
when
just
you're
keep
poor,
the same
but-
budget.
Yeah.
Don't move suburbs. Stay where you are. Extra money just goes
See,
to
that's-
ministry somewhere.
I've always wanted to do that until I started earning more money. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
how
yeah.
honestly, how fickle is your heart with that sort of stuff?
It's
yeah.
brutal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And you hate yourself for it. as well.
Exactly.
You're like, no,
It's like I
can't do
know
this.
I know me of 2 years ago would probably kick me of right now right in the teeth for talking about
Unconscious.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, what are you, loser? Come on, get real, you know.
Yeah.
And so I do sort of hunger for those old days where like, money, stuff that. I don't care about money. Money's not important.
Yes.
Like I do yearn for those days. But
Yeah.
a great quote I heard, speaking of preachers, you guys know John Piper.
I
Yeah.
heard of him. Yeah.
You sent Simon sent a John Piper gift through. He's so expressive
So
on the
good,
group
isn't
chat today. He said, "What you're going to do is you're going to get all this money," and he said the sad thing is that you're going to inflate your lifestyle so that in 10 years you'll be able to write a book called "How to Earn $200,000 and Scrape By," and you'll actually mean it.
Yeah.
Like, and that I heard that and that was almost prophetic. I'm like, got to try and not do that.
Yeah. One of the interesting things with my life, or our life at the moment, with Lucinda and I, is that we're planning to move to a very remote place. We don't know where yet. It could end up being in a city, but we don't want it to be.
Yeah.
But move to like a tribe.
Oh boy.
There will be no eBay.
Oh boy.
There
oh
will
boy,
be
oh
no
boy.
post. Like we will get 3 monthly groceries kind of thing, and relying on like 99% of our money from people who might not give us money next time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of like comfortable at the moment, but like kind of trying to scale down consciously because we know that it's going to be hard and we're going to try and...
Let's do a whole episode
It's
on you
hard.
becoming a missionary, man.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
It might be a little while.
Yeah.
It depends when are you ready to encapsulate all of your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Don't know.
Week?
We'll figure
Do
it
you reckon
out.
a week would be all right?
Oh, maybe a week or two.
2. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Well, guys, look, it has been very real, I think I would say. And we've thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with you guys again. We hope this continues for next week and the week after and the week after that.
Oh,
Can we get the
definitely.
triple?
Fingers crossed. Because we know that our promises are worth nothing.
We need to come up with a motto.
3 views on the podcast that does not deliver.
Yeah, exactly. Would it be quick to commit, slow to deliver?
Guys, keep living the dream. It's been real.